Okay, right, starting on your calves. So start at the bottom, pop your foot over the top if you can, and just slowly roll. So just slowly forward and back. And so with your calf, you can rock your foot as well, from outside, coming inside. So it's a bit like a ticking clock, going forward and back, but I'm still going up at the same time. So I'm rolling that calf. Now my calves are all super tight, so you can lift keep your calves off as well. That's it. So just take a deep breath in and slowly go from the bottom of your calf up to underneath your knee. Just slight little rolls. My calves are so tight that I can't take my bum off the floor. That's awful, isn't it? And just swap your legs. If you feel you need to roll your calves a little bit before you actually start, you can always just do some rolls. That's what I should have done to start with. My calves are really tight, your calves probably a bit better. Okay, so really focus on these calves. We're going to stay for another minute on our calves. Just really slowly rolling up. And you can do that clock of your foot. So you're trying to get all the way in your calf. We will keep coming back to our calves. If it feels too sore with your foot over, bring your foot here. My goodness, I didn't actually realise my calves were this sore. Hopefully your calves aren't feeling like mine. So just another last few seconds on your calves. Just finish off your calves, just warm them up, and then we're going to roll our quads just to warm up them as well. So we come around onto our front. So we're just rolling to warm up. So you're starting at the top, and then you're just going to roll down, come up, and just roll down. So just a few rolls to warm up your quads a little bit. I'm trying to take my weight off as I roll up and then roll down. And then you're going to take it to the center of your quads. Oh my goodness. You're going to take it to the center of your quads. And you're going to rock. Put all your weight down on those quads. Take a deep breath in. And then slowly release into your quads. And then take it slightly up towards your hip flexors. And you're rolling really, really slowly. That's it. And then from here, we'll find a hip flexor to go on one side for your hip flexor. And then you're squeezing one side. So you go from one side to the other. So you're rolling on your hip flexor here. And then you'll roll on your hip flexor on the other side. So I'm coming in here, just warming up that hip flexor, and then coming on the other side, warming up that hip flexor too. Good job. And then ease it off here. Okay, we're going to warm up the sides of our legs. So coming up really gently. We're not putting much pressure on. I'm putting all the pressure into my hands. We're just going to roll down your ITB nicely and then walk it back up. I don't know how I can do that gracefully. So you'll roll down one side, taking the pressure on your hands, and then roll back up. I can't do it gracefully. So I'm trying to squish everything up towards my heart. And I'm not rolling on the way back down because I don't want to be pushing all the blood back down again. And you just keep rolling down one way, but gently. Don't make this really painful. Coming down and through. That's it. So I've done four rolls on one side. So you might then want to come on the other side. So it doesn't want to feel really painful. coming down. One side might feel worse than the other, or they both might feel really tight. So we're rolling down from a knee up to a hip, and then we're coming back. I seem to be able to do that one more gracefully. So just 4 rolls on each side, without putting too much pressure on. I think I'm just going to laugh throughout this whole class. I think my body is actually in dire need of some foam rolling. Oh, that's it. And then ease off those ITBs. We're just warming up. We're getting the blood flowing around our body. And then we'll go into our backs. So on your upper back, we're just going to roll your upper back. Find those sweet points. Don't go too far down. And then roll down. You could bring your hands across your chest and push your chest out into the roller. And then you can go slightly over on one side and the other side, so you're getting in there inside your shoulder blades as well. And then your nice shoulder, just warm up that back. Go the length of the spine that you feel comfortable to. And just try and relax onto it. That's it. Letting your back have a nice massage. Don't do your neck, but you'll come up just before you get to your neck and try and get into your shoulders as well. You might hear a few cracks. And ease it off. Okay, so we're going to come back to our calves because they should feel a little bit warmer again. Let's just give them a few rolls each and then we're going to try and find those knots. So just give your calf a bit of a roll. Do the inside of your calf, your outside of your calf. Try and get the whole of your calf. Just feel it. It's a bit like when you massage a plasticine ball. Trying to get in there. Right, focusing on one calf, you're going to try and find the lumps and bumps in that calf. You might need to apply pressure by putting your foot over and bringing your hips up. And you're going to roll that calf and try and find any lumps and bumps. Where you feel a lump and bump, you're going to stay and you're going to hover. If it's too sore to go on the actual knot, come back a little bit. So you roll around the knot. So you're not right on where it feels pressured. So you're not hurting too much. So I'm just below. It's always in the belly of my calf that I get them. But it's about learning our body. And you'll start to know where your body is a bit tighter. You might feel that your calves are absolutely fine. So put more pressure up, bring your hips up and put more pressure into it. And also go on the inside of your calf as well. So it's not just on the outside. Just keep focusing on this calf. I am semi-timing on that leg. And you can apply pressure. You can also put your hand on it and apply pressure. So we're getting all the blood flowing within our calf. And you might find soreness where you didn't realise that you had soreness. Okay, we've got another 10 seconds on this calf, and then we'll switch over. That's it. Just keep finding those bits. So as you move around your calf, there's actually quite a lot you can do with it. Taking your foot right open. You're trying to get the whole of the muscle. It's not just straight up and down. Usually when we foam roller, we quite often just go up and down. Okay, change your legs when you're ready. You might want to warm that leg up a little bit, a bit like you're rolling a piece of plasticine. And then start to roll it and feel those bits and bobs. So we're spending a minute on each calf and just taking the time. And if you've got tight backs or tight glutes, it could actually be coming from your calves, you know, or, you know, vice versa.
Kirsty, is there a difference if I flex my foot or let it go floppy in terms of what it does to it?
Yeah, so if you flex your foot, you're going to tense your muscle, it's going to hurt. If you let your muscle go floppy, you're going to get more into it. So try and relax into it as much as you can. So can you feel it in your calf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think naturally when you roll it back, you bring your foot up, don't you, just to pull your leg back, you see?
Yeah.
And then I feel like I'm sitting on it more as opposed to squashing it.
Yeah, so my calves are super sore. So I can't actually lift the bottom off the floor. So yeah, just keep playing around with it, and then you can feel it into the knots. And also, it's thinking about the calf. It's a whole bit of it. I mean, I was just saying, quite often you just go straight up and down. If you're rolling in front of the TV, you'll probably just do one bit of calf. Okay. Whoa. Okay, so we're going to do it. We do the fronts of your legs. So you come on your fours, and it's so we're trying to get your joint here when your feet and your legs join with each other. And when you come up, you're going to try and get this muscle here at the side. So not necessarily your shin, there's a muscle just at the side that you're going to try and roll. For this, you might just want to do one at a time. So you can do your muscles, your joints. It's nice that core exercise as well. Your joints from your feet to your legs. Can you feel that at the front? And then for your front muscle there, you probably want to do it with one leg. If you want to do two legs, you can, but just make sure it doesn't hurt. So you're kind of rolling it like plasticine to start with, and then you can start to get in and just rock and roll. For this one, you might want to go from one side to the other if it's too sore. Trying to get as much weight onto it as well. So it's a bit of mobility movement as well. And again with this one, try and get the whole of that front. So my foam roller is going here, it's going here, so you try and get all the angles of that muscle there. And it's really releasing, and then it's going to release all that tension in your feet as well. So swap when you're ready. That's been a minute on that leg, so it's quite nice, that joint as well, meeting your leg and your foot. Ooh. So it's quite a nice roll, this one. Again, treat it like a bit of plasticine and warm it up. It's a bit like when you go to a sports massage, you rub it back a little bit and then they'll get their fingers in. So you want to try and get those cheeky little bits. That's it. If you feel you've done those two, just bring it back to the joint, just to squeeze. Ooh. That's it. 4, 3, 2, 1. So that should feel quite nice down the front of your legs. Okay, we're going to go for the ITB, but we're going to take this really carefully. So if it's really painful with the ITB, you stay low, but we're going to focus on this area down here. We're not going to do too high. We're definitely not going to go in the hip joint, because that's just crushing your bone rather than going for the muscle. So where your quad muscle starts to come out, that's it. So you're really femoring your quads here. And then you're coming down really nice and slowly. And you can always see if you can hold. And then go down. So really slow, see if you can hold. And then come down. And just release as you want to. And then start from the beginning. So start right at your quad. You can always put your weight on your hands. If you feel comfortable, you could come up and just let it, as if it goes to the side of your quad, so you're not on your hip socket, but you're following the muscle down the side. Just have a little play on that side. But quite often it feels like a bruise. And just go with it. Just spend another 10 seconds in this leg and then switch over. It's that nice sweet pain. That's it, and change over. I always find if I foam roller the night before I run, or before I run, my legs feel free. They just feel light. Or if you're going for a walk, your legs just feel so much lighter. So again, just take it nice and steady. And each leg might feel different. So if I roll over to the front on this one, sort of more of my quad, it's really tight. But the other one wasn't. Let's just take it nice and steady. That's it. So roll to the front if you want. Be more on the side. We just want to not roll our hip actual socket. Which. That's it. Another 10 seconds on that side. And then I'm going to bring in a stretch. Actually, no, we need to roll our glutes first, then we're going to bring in a pigeon stretch. 3, 2, 1, ease up. So we're going to roll our glutes, and then we're going to relax into a pigeon stretch. So with your glutes, you could just sit with one buttock on the foam roller, or you could bring your leg over to open up, and then you lean into it. And with your buttock, you're trying to roll the whole to the side, the center, the back, just trying to get in and release. So go from one side to the other side. So. Just roll around in that glute. And then we're going to take it into a pigeon. So you have your foam roller ahead of you. You're going to come into a pigeon here. So you're stretching out your glute. And then with your foam roller, you're going to push that foam roller out. And then you're pushing it away from your body. Pushing it away from your body. And then you've got that stretch with your glute. So if you want more control, you can sit and then come down and stretch into there. Just make sure you're not overstretching, but it's a controlled stretch. If you come up to sitting, you're going to feel that stretch a little bit differently. And then if you're using your foam roller to walk out, you can really reach out and get into that stretch. That's it. And then come to the other side. So you're sitting up and then coming down. Ooh. That's it, and sink in. And reach out. So you're walking in, walking out. So I'm driving my glute into the floor the whole time. That's it, and then we'll bring it back to another glute roll and then do the same. So bring it back to a glute roll and you're just going to go in between the glute roll and that pigeon stretch. So you're rolling your glutes, center, side, top part, bottom part. It's a massive muscle, you're trying to roll all around.
You know, when you get to the, I don't know what it is, the technical term, but the bone bit in the bottom of your bum, do you actually go over that, or do you stop when you get to that?
Just move a little bit so you're not on bone.
Okay.
So probably stop and then come back up again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the foam rolling, you want to try and avoid going on bone.
Yeah.
The foam roller likes nice juicy muscle. But I know what you mean when you start to get it into your pelvis. Try and find those sweet points as well. The other thing you can do when you're doing this is hold the foam roller so it's controlled. So if I'm doing this glue, my hand is on this part of the foam roller. So I've got more control in it. And then take it back into your pigeon. So we're activating it in the foam roller. And then we're taking it into a stretch. If you don't like pigeons, you can always do the glue, the lying glue one. But this one's quite sweet with the foam roller, because you can set up and then extend down. Obviously, if you need support, just hold it up here and sink and just keep switching around. So your legs are hopefully starting to feel a bit better. That's it. And really reach as well so you can feel that stretch. And then we're going to focus on our quads. So when you're ready, we'll bring the foam roller to the centre of your quads to start with, and you'll just hold it there about 20 seconds, and you take a deep breath in and you relax. So you're trying to ease yourself. So in the centre of my quads, once you're ready from your pigeon, your feet can be off the floor or they can be on the floor, and you'll just take a deep breath in and you try and relax. So you let the body relax onto the foam roller. And then move ever so slightly up or down. So you're just trying to get that release in your quads. You can bend your leg. It might hurt at the same time. So you're manipulating the muscle. And then start to take it to more of a roll. So if you try and focus more on one leg than the other leg, so you roll down, you can go all the way to your hip flexor and come back up, go to the other leg. So I'm just adjusting my body slightly so I can do more on one leg than the other leg. I'm trying to come all the way down to the hip flexor. Just pause whenever you need to. When I'm rolling back up, I'm trying to have as little amount of pressure on my legs as I can. So it's a bit like squeezing. Say you're doing a squeegee or squeezing the toothpaste out of the tube. You're squeezing it out. You don't want to push it back in again. That's it. And then start to focus on your hip flexors. So like we did before, one hip flexor at a time and the other hip flexor here. Then we're going to do some stretches with them. That's it. Oh. That's it. Okay. For your quads, you can either stretch on your foam roller and maybe do a little roll at the same time, so holding your foot, or just come off the foam roller and stretch. Then we've got your quad and your hip flexors having a stretch as well. So you're just rotating in between the quads. So this might be a little bit too intense. Squeeze it down. So your legs should hopefully feel quite nice now. Okay, then do a little stretch for the inside of your leg. You put one leg out to the side, one leg straight down, and come here. And you can again with your foam roller come out, and then so you've got some movement. But then, so coming down and up. You're feeling the stretch here. And then change sides. So feeling that stretch inside your leg. That's it. Nice. Okay, we're going to come back up to our upper back and we're going to line it. So it's your lats, and so you're lying it slightly to the side. You're lying it here, and you have to try and find that sweet spot. So it's kind of just to the side of your back down here. So if this muscle is loosened, it's trying to release all your muscles down here as well. So if it's sore, come off from where it's sore, and you can use your hand on the foam roller to try and control the movement of the roll. Then you can come back and forth, so you can move, get the full movement, and move the foam roller around to try and get in there. So this is really good for those people with shoulder issues as well, just trying to release. And then change to the other side when you're ready. Trying to get that sweet point. And again, coming forward. Oh, I'm coming back. Just trying to release the muscle. That's it. So I'm using my hand on the roller to control the movement of the roller. That's it. Oh, and then we're going to go to our upper back. So with the upper back, take it steady. We're going to do some bending. So be careful with this one. So you're going to come back to where it feels comfortable, and you're coming up, pushing it into the foam roller. So I'm mobilizing, coming back, flexing and extending. And then you can change the position of the foam roller, but be very careful with your back. You might feel happier just coming to the upper back. This one here. That's it. And then cross your hands over, and then we'll roll and try and get into your shoulder blades. So you're putting more weight on one side than the other on your shoulder blades. And squeezing in. So going on one side. By curving your back out, you're trying to open your back up and try and release any tightness. You might even find it just by going one way and then the other. So you've got some rotation as well. And just rolling that back out. So we're not going directly on the lower spine, but you can come kind of mid-back and roll, and then come down and up. Now those that want to, with the rollers, it depends how long your roller is coming on it lengthways, and then coming down and going side to side. Now my roller is a bit short for this one, but quite a few people like this one. So it's a bit more like a T, and you're going side to side, releasing your back. And then we'll carry on releasing your back and come into a nice twist for your back. So just release the foam roller, and you're going to come to the side. Or you could put your foam roller in front, and then you can use that foam roller to increase that stretch, but be careful that you're not overstretching. So again, my hand can go on the roller to increase that stretch. And just go side to side. So really nice rotation, and using the foam roller and using the wall is this one here. So you come down to the wall, I'm really far away from the screen. My foam roller goes in between my knee and the wall. I'm on my knee, you can also put a cushion on your knee. I start here, and then I open up. So I rotate my back all the way down and then in. So it's if you're pulling, and you can always do it up and over. So you've got a shoulder movement as well. And you're trying to get both shoulders against the wall because you're pushing against the foam roller as well at the same time. It helps that movement. So try one side and then try the other side as well. It's quite cheeky. But it's a really nice release of your back. Now, I always demonstrate, I hardly ever demonstrate on this side, and this side for me hasn't got as much mobility. So it just shows the difference in adding in the mobility. Squeeze it out, and down, and just go from side to side. Ooh. That's it. So just ease it off there. Go where you want, and then we're going to come into a child's pose stretch. Stretch it, and we're going to again use the foam roller, and you're going to roll out, and you're going to sink your head down to the floor, and you're going to push out against the foam roller. Because you've got the foam roller, it means you can push out that little bit more, because you've got the resistance. And then you can take the foam roller to the side. And you can go to the side to push out, and then the side. So just using the resistance of the foam roller, using the shape basically. So it's not a massage tool, but it's a stretching tool. Coming down and around. Should feel quite nice. There you go. Coming back. So we're going to come back to a rubber back. And this time you're just going to lie in it. You're just going to hold and roll. So you can bring your hips up if you want, or you can keep them on the floor. You can put your hand on your back, under your head. And you're just going to try and release your back onto the foam roller. You might need to physically hold your head up so it doesn't strain your neck. And you're just slowly rolling up. You can put the bend in if you want to, but just be careful. And you're just feeling your back ease off. Slowly up and slowly down. So take it down as far as you feel comfortable on your back, and then take it up again. And then bring it back up. You're going to take it back to your calves. And we're just going to push, try and go all the way from our calves to our hamstrings, and then we're going to do fronts of our legs, taking it all the way up to our heart. So nice and slowly roll your calves. You can go one leg or two legs. Hopefully they feel a little bit better than they did to start with. Focus on one leg, then the other leg. So when I first started, I was eking because it was so sore. And now It's not. So do one leg and then the other leg. Still look for those knots. So the more you foam roller, when it's sore to start with, the quicker it will go. So we're going to have a go at your hamstrings. So with your hamstrings, you start underneath your knees, you bring yourself up and you just start to roll a bit underneath your knees, and then you can roll further up, and it's trying to get in the right position to roll your hamstrings, and then you can sit on the foam roller and roll this way as well. And then coming onto your quads. Actually, no, we need to do our feet first. So coming down to our feet, and then we just bring it all the way up. So on your joints, and then the fronts of your legs. So you can go 1 foot at a time, or go both. You need to make sure you drink lots of water after this as well. And then when you're ready, you bring it onto your quads. And you're just rolling slowly to go up to your hip flexors. So roll nice and slowly. Really slowly. So you should hopefully feel that in your quads. Has anyone got anything in particular that they want to foam roll? And then we'll do our ITBs.
Mine's just really hamstring for my knee, so.
Yeah, so all this would be really good. Just I did quite a lot of legs.
Yeah.
So this one will be good as well. Just nice and slowly, ITB to ITB. If your ITBs are sore, spend longer on your ITBs. So you can always do this one here when you're going underneath your knees as well.
I like that one. I could just do that all day.
Yeah, so that's quite hard. And then come up to your glutes. So just give each glute a nice roll. It should feel quite nice. Okay, if you come up into a forward fold, and then you can just feel a nice stretch of your hamstrings, and you can just push that foam roller away for a really nice lengthening of the backs of your legs. You can bend your legs as well. And you can always take the foam roller behind and stretch out your shoulders there as well. You always bend your knees and then lengthen. And then slowly come up to stand. Whew. You might want to kneel if you've got a fuzzy head. And then just ease off, mobilise your spine. And some twists. Then take a few deep breaths in and out. Just let your neck roll to the side and to the front, controlled. Just to release. That's it, and then come up. Cool. And then you'll roll it.
Thank you. That was